What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing the monster movie tag. So let's get to it. Alright, so in this video I'm going to be doing the monster movie tag. So this is basically a tag or challenge, however you say. You basically answer questions about monster movies. So I got tagged by Night Owl. If you haven't checked her out yet, definitely go check her channel out. She makes some pretty good videos and she has some good trivia. I like doing the trivia she has. She does a lot of great trivia, and not to brag or anything, but you know, I won quite a few trivias on there, but you know, not bragging or anything. But definitely go check her out. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description below. I believe she said this tag was started by the Soulless Trenchcoat, so I will leave a link to their channel also, so make sure to check them out. So they created this tag. Basically, monster movie tag is called answer questions about monster movies. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's go and get started. Our first question says, what is your favorite monster movie? So monster movie, favorite monster movie. I'm going to have to go with now this is not necessarily a monster movie, I guess, but horror based, I guess you say. My favorite film series has to be Nightmare on Elm Street. That's like my all-time favorite like horror film series. So Nightmare on Elm Street, I just like it. Freddy Krueger, my favorite, is one of my favorite, like pretty much my favorite horror icon. So I gotta go favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. Another ones I would say, I definitely like shark movies, because like I just like sharks in general. Like you know, as animals, I know not necessarily they're monsters or anything, but the way that they are depicted in movies, they could be like horror based or monster based movies. You know, you get a bunch of shark movies, so I like watching those. Like the mainstream ones I watch, even some of the obscure ones I watch too sometimes. Might catch here and there. So I gotta say shark movies are one of them. Question number 2 says favorite monster. So favorite monster, I'm gonna have to go with a werewolf. I like werewolves, like watching movies of werewolves, seeing them in movies and stuff like that. I gotta say it's one of my favorite creatures, and basically like wolves are one of my favorite animals. So like being able to see a werewolf is kind of cool to me in a movie. So I gotta say a werewolf. And again, sharks, just sharks in general, it's like cool how they depict them in movies where they're like, you know, just the movies you see of sharks are kind of crazy and kind of cool. Also, number 3 says first monster movie that scared you. So not many monster movies scare me. Even as a kid, when I used to watch horror movies, not many scared me. So but one that stood out that scared me kind of, just a little bit kind of did scare me, was Jeepers Creepers. I remember watching it as a young kid, and you know, just the you know, Jeepers Creepers in general was pretty kind of scary to me as a young kid watching that for the first time. I mean, nowadays I can watch that movie and not even get scared or anything, but watching it as a very young kid for the first time definitely scared me. Another movie I have to say kind of scared me a little bit as a kid when I watched it for the first time was Signs. If y'all familiar with that movie, the aliens and all that. So that movie Signs was kind of creepy to me as a young kid. I guess I got a little scared from it. You know, those are kind of two that stuck out a little bit more as far as I can remember. I remember Michael Myers used to scare me a little bit as a kid also. Not as much, but like just a little bit. You know, nowadays I could watch Halloween movies and not even get scared or anything like that. So I would pretty much just watch them in general. But like as a young kid, just slightly scared of him, you know. But moving on, let's go to question number 4. Number 4 says favorite giant monster movie. So this was kind of a no-brainer, easy one for me. Gotta say Godzilla. Godzilla, I've been watching Godzilla movies for a long time, ever since I was a little kid. My uncles were really into the Japanese Godzilla movies, so I used to watch a lot of those as a kid, and then continue watching them growing up and watching them now. Like we get the newer Godzilla movies now, and I definitely like those ones. So I gotta say Godzilla is my favorite giant monster movie. Number 5 says, do you think Cabin in the Woods is the best monster movie? So off the bat I would say no, just because I have not seen it. I have not seen Cabin in the Woods, so I automatically gotta just say no, because I just have not seen it in general. So that's my answer for that question. Number 6 says favorite classic Universal movie. So I'm guessing Universal Pictures movie. I'm guessing what this question is asking. As far as classic goes, I'll probably say Wolfman, the original like Universal monsters, like, you know, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, stuff like that. I have to say out of those ones, it would probably be Wolfman would be my favorite. Like I said, I like werewolves, and I like the Wolfman. It was definitely a very classic movie that I enjoyed. So I gotta say Wolfman for that one. Number 7 says underrated monster movie. So underrated monster movie, this one took a little bit of thinking, but after doing a little bit of research and all that stuff, I have to say Tremors, probably. At the time that Tremors came out, it was very, like, not a lot of people watched it from what I gathered. I remember seeing Tremors in the other films in the series when I was a younger kid and all that. And nowadays it has like a cult following to it, but like back then I know it wasn't like very popular and stuff when it was first around and all that. So it gained popularity over the years, but like at first it wasn't as popular, so that's why I decided to go with as underrated movie. Number 8 says favorite mythological movie. So this one took a little bit thinking also. Mythological as far as like creatures and all that, I had to go with the Harry Potter film series. So I love Harry Potter, love the books, love the films. As far as like the mythological part, there's a bunch of mythological and magical creatures and monsters shown throughout those movies, and also too in the new film series of the Wizarding World Fantastic Beasts, we get a lot more creatures shown. So I gotta say, that entire film series, of watching that, I love the film series, and then being able to see the creatures and the depictions of them in there, the movies, was definitely pretty cool to watch that throughout the whole series. Alright, number 9 says monster that should be used more. So this question I kind of tweaked just a little bit, so I decided to go with monster or movie that should like be made more. So first thought that came to my head was the Percy Jackson series. For those of y'all familiar with Percy Jackson, the book series is amazing. The movies, not so much. Now, they made the first 2 books into movies. First movie was alright. Second movie, whatever. But I gotta say, if they're able to actually make that series into live action form, whether it be a movie or a TV series, honestly, in my opinion, it could be the next Harry Potter. Like, it could be as big as Harry Potter, in my opinion. As far as the creatures and mythological creatures that are shown in the movies, or like mentioned throughout the books, because it's centered around Greek mythology. So we got a bunch of gods, we got a bunch of monsters and creatures that come out throughout the books. So if they're able to get the film series right, or get maybe a TV series, if they're able to depict the books right, and we could get a lot of mythological creatures and monsters shown throughout the live action form of it, then that would be definitely very cool to see that. I was doing a little bit of research also on this question, and one movie that came across that kind of piqued my interest a little bit when I was reading about it, pretty much the premise of it piqued my interest, was this movie called Project Metal Beast. It's kind of an older movie. It's basically, the premise is a group of scientists create this sort of weapon. It's pretty much a cyborg werewolf. Now, as far as the movie goes, if I was reading about it, it's pretty much went on a rampage and started killing everybody and stuff like that. So honestly, it kind of piqued my interest because I like werewolves, like I said before. And then the way it was, like, it's pretty much like bulletproof, and it's like hard to destroy, and it pretty much went on a rampage, killing everybody. So honestly, it just slightly piqued my interest, but like I heard it wasn't very good as far as effects and stuff like that. So I was just thinking, if they're able to do it now with the updated effects and like the times now, then honestly it might be a good movie. You never know, but it kind of piqued my interest a little bit, just a little something. Next question, going with number 10, it says, what is the most unique monster you've seen in a movie? So the first thing that kind of popped into my head was the monster from Spaceballs. You all know Spaceballs, pretty much a parody of Star Wars. The first thing that popped into my head was Pizza the Hutt. Now, Pizza the Hutt is pretty much a parody character of Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars. Pizza the Hutt in Spaceballs is like pretty much this creature that is made from like pizza toppings, like pepperoni, cheese, seasoning and stuff like that. It's just really weird looking and disgusting, and like just honestly just honestly, this first thing that came into my head as far as uniqueness and weirdness and just overall, just I don't know, it was just weird. It was weird. But that's my answer for that question. Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs. Number 11 says favorite monster from a non-horror movie, book, or show. So basically, this one I went with Harry Potter, the creatures from like Harry Potter and stuff like that. And overall, basically all the creatures that were shown in the Harry Potter series, because pretty much Harry Potter is not necessarily a horror film series. So that's what went through my mind when thinking about this question. That was a horror, or monster based, necessarily. So that's what I came up for that one. Next question is number 12. Do you believe in cryptid creatures and your favorites? So cryptid creatures, honestly, I do believe in pretty much. You got pretty much cool creatures like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra, and a lot of other honestly pretty cool creatures and stuff. I used to read about them a lot when I was younger, and I like learning about them. I thought they were definitely interesting to learn about, so that's what I used to like to read about them as a kid and stuff like that. And honestly, I do believe in them. I think it's possible they are in existence in this world, so yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Number 13 says favorite era of monster films. So favorite era of monster films, I'm gonna have to go with the 80s. As far as like monster and horror based movies, I gotta say 80s ones were pretty much some of the best in my opinion. During that decade, they had a lot of great ones like Nightmare on Elm Street, Aliens, Beetlejuice, Gremlins, Friday the 13th, Halloween. Just to name a couple of them that I liked. Honestly, they had a lot of great monster and horror based movies during that time. Like I say, some of the best came out during those years. So that's what I chose for that question. Next question says number 14. This is the last question here. It says choose one of the 6 monsters, and the other 5 will try to kill whoever you pick. So we gotta choose one of these monsters. That's what the question says. So the choices are a Grapoid from Tremors, Pumpkinhead, 100 Gremlins, Predator, Frankenstein, and The Thing. So this one I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I gotta say the one that I chose to go with is the Predator, just because the Predator has a skill set that is unmatchable. If y'all see the Predator movies and just the overall depiction of them in movies, they have like a skill set that's unmatchable. They have a bunch of weaponry and gadgets that they use throughout the movies also. And with the Predator being like pretty much a hunter and all that, it's able to kill humans pretty easily. It was able to stand up against aliens and kill aliens too in movies. So like just the overall skill set and weaponry and gadgets that they have at their disposal is definitely something that's going to be hard to beat. Like with the Grapoid, Tremors might be something that could be a formidable foe because it's underground, so it like primarily stays underground and it could appear at any time. But I think the Predator will find a way to defeat that. 100 Gremlins could be very unpredictable. They are pretty much crazy creatures. They just do whatever they want, so that could be a formidable foe. But I think Predator could find some way to do it. Honestly, if it came down to it, he'd probably just self-destruct or something. If it came down to it, I don't know. But in the end, he still won, because he was able to destroy all of them. But let me see. Pumpkinhead, I'm not really familiar with. I haven't seen the movie or anything, so I'm not really familiar with what they can do. Frankenstein doesn't have too much going for it besides like super strength and something, so that might be easier to take down. The Thing can pretty much shapeshift, I believe, right? Shapeshift into stuff. I don't think that would necessarily help, because if you have all these like things in a single area and they're trying to kill each other, what's the good use of shapeshifting if the other opponents are already trying to kill you no matter what you kind of shapeshift into? So I mean, that's the way I see it. But I decided to go with the Predator for this one just because the overall skill set, gadgetry, and weaponry that it has at its disposal, I think it could defeat them all. Honestly, that's what I chose with. But those are basically the questions for this one. So that's the monster movie tag, how it goes. I don't know if I'm gonna tag anybody, but if y'all want to do it, definitely would like to see y'all try it out, see what y'all come up with y'all answers for this one. And make sure y'all give credit to Soulless Trenchcoat. and Night Owl is the one that tagged me in this, so appreciate her tagging me in this. And it definitely took some thinking on my part to come up with these answers. So definitely, if y'all want to try it, I would definitely like to see other people try it and see the videos on it. But that's basically going to do it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to be part of Team Legendary, all you gotta do is subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hope y'all all have an awesome day, and remember, be legendary.